With the removal of virtual queue from Walt Disney World, guests visiting the resort now have unfettered access to both Tiana's Bayou Adventure and Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. Unfortunately, this has led to lines for the popular Epcot attraction sometimes passing the 3-hour mark, which may have caused a rather disgusting situation for both guests and cast. Let's talk about someone going number 2 in Disney's queue here on That Park Place.
Well, I hope you're not all behind, because something tragic has happened on a ride that, you used to be able to reserve your seat on this ride in order to get into the queue for Cosmic Rewind. And now, well, things are getting pretty dicey over there. Cosmic behind guests hoops all over floor and walls of Cosmic Rewind at Epcot, and people kept standing there. This kind of sounds like the thing you would hear somebody kind of freaking out about on the way home after everybody catches up. It's in the car on the way back home from Epcot after a long day. But no, it's true. It's true. And we actually do have something a little bit more serious to tie this on to here that WDWNT doesn't quite get there with it. But let's read the story. A Walt Disney guest incident has taken a turn for the smelly as a new TikTok video shows that a guest relieved himself or herself all over the floor and walls of the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind queue in Epcot, which somehow did not deter guests from enduring the wait to ride. We're not going to show anything on this video, by the way. We're not putting images of the wall itself here, but we do have some video. It is just not going to show, well, the horrible truth of the matter. Readers we're not going to show that part. A video posted by a user called A Rainy Day on TikTok. The initial footage shows guests waiting to board Cosmic Rewind, with many holding their noses and covering their faces with sleeves and shirt collars. Their caption reads, "Flower and Garden Festival did not sit well with somebody." I'm gonna skip a little bit of this article real quick. Here we go. And you've safely arrived at your destination. The next shot is one that no one wants to see, and yet it's in the article, while waiting in a lengthy line for an attraction. Painting on the floor and walls of the queue. You can hear one of the guests yell, "Ooh," in the background of the video. Despite the stench, the unfortunate incident was not enough to convince riders to exit the queue, with many still just standing there or moving along as lines progressed. One commenter said, "Was this today?" And the user replied, "This is right now." The video was posted yesterday evening on March 5th. Still unclear if the culprit was an adult or child, or how long the mess remained until it was cleaned up. So it is worth noting that while there are no restrooms in the queue for Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, there are restrooms in the nearby Connections Eatery, as well as just outside Club Cool. Guests can exit an attraction queue at any time and ask a cast member to re-enter the queue if one member of their party stays behind. Well, let's talk about this real quick, Vash.
Yes, we do have a little bit of video that we can show of people's horrified reactions.
All right.
To what is going on there. Unfortunately, let me see if I can get this up on screen here. Here we go. People's reactions to this. Obviously, not great, not good. Nobody wants to be in this position at all. But we were speculating on this. At least I was, with my mother actually, who I was going over this news with, and she had a very interesting take that I thought was very intriguing to this conversation, because obviously, I mean, somebody had a bad accident here, and it's hard to say who or maybe what actually transpired in this particular situation. One of the speculations was, hey, look, listen, we have heard about the changes to DAS. Obviously, we've covered them extensively here on That Park Place, of course. And one of the changes that DAS brought with it was that it was very exclusionary towards many people with a range of disabilities who otherwise would have qualified for that specific service. DAS service being the disability access service, in which people could reserve a time to ride later and then board on that attraction when that reservation time actually came up, so that it would alleviate them from maybe perhaps having to wait 1, 2, 3 hours, so forth. Now with that service very limiting in how many guests can actually enroll into that service, one of those guests may have been left out, and I think in a big way, or guests with maybe irritable bowel issues. So perhaps, maybe, possibly, this could have been avoided. It's an interesting idea.
Right. And there's the question of who's sound mind and body at this point. I don't know who, not every Disney guest has full control of themselves. Here, there's also the fact that tickets to Epcot are pretty, pretty expensive right now. So it's not like it's a $60 ticket or something and you know that you can just go back another day without breaking the bank here. So I'm really, this is really tragic and nasty and disgusting, but also Disney, there are a couple of factors here that could have helped out here. I know that the queue for this ride in particular is not that long. It's been on virtual queue for a very long time and seems to not need that virtual queue, except for whoever this person was. We're not going to put malicious intent on whoever it was that did this, because if they did, well, how do you put malicious intent on that? Nobody wants to do that. I think that this is something where Disney has created a situation in which people are a little too excited and a little too stubborn in what they're doing here. Vash, I think it's pricing, and I think it's DAS.
I think it is. I think it is a combination. And here's the thing: if it's like people might say, well, virtual queue, this is the reason why there's virtual queue. I mean, you can still get a lightning lane for this attraction. So it's not like there's no possible way that you can sideline this queue and so forth here. But I think it is a combination of the two, Jonas. I think you do have pricing. I think you do have issues related to people perhaps trying to maybe fit in as much as they possibly can, and because the price is so high and perhaps that was a contributing factor to this specific situation. I think DAS should absolutely be on the table in terms of trying to reconcile what actually happened here. And if I could be so bold, Jonas, some people might say, well, you got kids and kids do things. That's true. I couldn't put it on screen here at all. Actually, I couldn't even blur it out because the quantity involved was high, and so. I personally doubt that's the case, but again, we're all speculating to the best of our.
Yeah, it could be an adult-sized person with a childlike mentality as well.
Indeed,
that does happen at Disney. Staccato DDS. Was that a sneak preview of Snow White? Staccato.
Is people exiting the theater?
Oh my goodness! It's
tough.
Virtual queue still has a long wait though. Yes, it does. Yes, it's not like you go right on the ride. Or is this the lightning lane queue at this point? Is this someone who has paid? In fact, maybe that's what it is. Everybody try to know your body to the best of your ability and be prepared. Sometimes those theme park foods can not sit well with your stomach, and try not to have such a grumpy experience there while you're at Walt Disney World. Yikes!
That's a tough one. That's a very tough one right there. But look, I mean, if Disney is going to maintain capacity at their parks to the degree that they are, not expand, but we're gonna transform this ride or replace this ride or whatever, and you are not going to be in the business of continually expanding capacity so that your existing attraction queues are lower in terms of wait time, well, I mean, things are gonna happen. I mean, this is partly why the quality of queues has kind of diminished over time, because with the implementation of FastPass, you had queues that now people stand in line to a great deal longer than they did before FastPass, right? Because now when you're trying to decide, okay, this many can go and this many can go, this many can go from these two different lines, that being the FastPass line, in this case the Lightning lane, and the regular standby queue, people would destroy the queues around them because they were in a stationary position for so long. Not in this fashion, of course, but destructive damage where you had maybe some props and so forth either pulled off or destroyed in some other fashion. I mean, these things do happen.
They do. And I just want to remind everyone that Pooh Corner is actually at Magic Kingdom. I'll be here all night, folks. Ken Reihard, you said it too. This is funny. I think Ken Reihard and I have a similar personality, which is a little bit scary for me. Aldo's Journal, some of the people who are still going to Disney now are the one who feel entitled to do this. There was a man who burped his guts out 2 meters. And here we are, Deborah, with the empathy. Of course, I feel sad for the cast members who had to clean this up. Pay raise, please. That's not even a code V right there. That is a code something that they probably hope they don't have a code for. Well, let's move on very quickly from this story.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.